that stone me to my soul.
Well, here we are, gang. It's 4 days after turnover, and I've got a boat that we'll say is half done. I'm really pleased about this. We got a group of about a dozen people together, friends, neighbors, boat builders, boat fantasizers, with the help of John, a haven builder from a town about an hour away. We got the gantry here and lifted the boat, removed the molds, lowered the boat, changed its rigging, lifted it up, turned it over, and set it down on its cradle. And so all told, I'll say that was basically, 2 hours of work, and that was great. Basically just what I had budgeted. And so I really cannot thank John Augsburger enough for his help and his lending me the equipment, which made all this possible. All right, you might be asking yourself how we got from this to this. When we were last talking about the hull, I had a coat of primer, red lead on the bottom side and a white primer on the top side. The first coat you put on, you see all of the imperfections, the tiny little humps that barely registered even on your fingertips. They come out because they're thrown into contrast or into relief. So it was a process of a coat of paint, some sanding of the high spots, kind of evening out any low spots, and then another coat of paint, blah, 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 blah. I only had one coat of primer on the top side, and then I shifted over to the hull paint from Kirby, and that was a custom blue that I had ordered from them. Below the waterline, I used a red copper anti-fouling paint from Kirby. And then there was the waterline. This proved really challenging for me, in part because in the course of planking, the bow end raised up off the construction platform just a little bit. I'm gonna say an inch and a half, or something along those lines. And so what people have done in many cases is they just draw the water line on there because it's already horizontal or something along those lines. By the time I got to the point of drawing the water line, the boat was definitely not aligned on the construction platform and on the construction line. And so what I had to do was refind and rescribe the water line. I bought a laser level, and basically that did not work for me for a couple of reasons. Because I'm building the boat on a slope, I'm not on level ground, or the construction platform, which is level, it does not extend far enough out to use that level plane to establish the water line. I tried several different times to find the water line with the laser level and then to mark it on the hull of the boat. And basically it didn't work. It did not look from every angle like it was a line, that it was a straight line from some point on. They were not all in kind of a plane. So what I did was I went back to doing it the old-fashioned way. Essentially what I did was I looked on the plans for the point just in front of the second station line on the stem where the water line terminates on the stem. And then the spot just below the keel to transom joint at the stern where the water line terminates. And I'm like, okay, great. It's basically got to be a straight line between there. So then what I did was I put up some standards along the edge of the construction platform, found a level line across from port side to starboard side that went across the kind of marked termination of the water line. And then with those standards, I did the same at the back of the construction platform. Set up some standards, put a level line across the stern of the boat, basically string, where I knew that the water line terminated. And then I ran a real tight string, basically just a taut line from the fore standard to the aft standard. And I did that on each side of the boat. So basically, if that's in line with the front end, the fore end of the water line, and it's a straight line and it ends at the same plane as the aft end of the water line, then it's got to be a straight line. And I worked to keep it real tight. That was, between 6 inches and about like 12 inches away from the hull of the boat. And so then what I did was, with a level, I braced or butted the end of a level against the hull of the boat. It's curving, of course. Brace it against the hull of the boat, and then kind of lower it down until it's level, and it should level right at the string. All right, I've got the port side boot top stripe right above the water line taped up. And so that's ready to get some topside paint in white. And then we'll see how it looks. One of the next challenges was the cradle. Basically, what's the boat gonna sit in, and how am I gonna support it after I turn it over? John, my boat turning friend, had a solution for that, and I only kind of realized it or came to appreciate it later on, after I had already decided that I was gonna go what I thought was kind of like the low tech, but schematically very conceptually manageable. Like, basically I was going to go the easier route that I was sure I could handle. An I-frame with some vertical supports, and I got this from Chuck Jenkins. All right, gang, it's November 1st, Saturday morning, nice and brisk, cool, clear, really nice day. And tomorrow is the big turnover day. And so what I'm doing right now, you can see here, I have the kind of very basic cradle or support that will rest it in when it's turned over. But for now, I'm basically just preparing the molds and construction platform. 2 molds, one fore and one aft, will stick with the boat just to make sure that it doesn't kind of like press too much. And then in the middle, around stations 10 and 16, we're going to have 2x4s going across it, kind of holding that shape, kind of amidships. So the shape and the beam should not change at that point, with those kind of 4 supports. I was waiting a little after lunch and had spent the morning preparing for John's arrival, and was real happy to see him pull up with the gantry in the back. It was disassembled, so we had to take that all down to the backyard and then start setting up. And he had brought some other stuff for me, which I appreciated very much. And people started to arrive.
He works in the sun and he works in the rain. Oh, molasses rum. Then he loads it up on a wooden ship and sends it off on a northern trip. Singing, oh, molasses rum. Singing, oh, molasses, oh, New England tea. It killed my grandpa, killed my pa, and it sure as hell is a-killing me. Singing, oh, molasses rum. When they fought the war for the colonies, oh, molasses, they fought it over New England tea. Oh, molasses rum.
Well, I'm gonna write a little letter, I'm gonna mail it to my local DJ. Yeah, this a jumping little record I want my jockey to play. Roll over Beethoven, I gotta hear it again today. You know my temperature rising, the jukebox blowing a fuse. My heart beating rhythm and my soul keep a singing the blues. I roll over Beethoven, tell Tchaikovsky the news. I got the rockin' pneumonia, I need a shot of rhythm and blues. I caught the rolling arthritis sitting down at a rhythm review. I roll over Beethoven, they're rockin' in 2 by 2. Well, if you feel it and like it, go get your lover, then reel and rock it. Roll it over, then move on up. Just a try for further, then reel and rock with one another. Roll over Beethoven, dig these rhythm and blues. Step on my blue suede shoe. Hey, diddle, diddle, I'ma play my fiddle. Ain't got nothing to lose. Roll over Beethoven, tell Tchaikovsky the news. You know she wiggle like a glowworm, dance like a spinning top. She got a crazy partner, you ought to see him reel and rock. Long as she got a dime, the music won't never stop. I roll over Beethoven, 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 dig to the rhythm and blues.
It's twice as wide than it looked there. Wow. It's done.
All right, it's a day after flipping the boat, and so now it's the work of basically cleaning up the yard. You can see over my shoulder all the molds that we pulled off of the construction platform. There's one or two that kind of came apart in the course of removing it from the construction platform and from the boat. So I've got to stack these, find a place to put them, take all the brackets off, make any repairs. I'm not done building boats, but I probably will not make another Haven after this one is done. If anyone wants to save themselves a couple $100 of expense and a couple of weeks of mold making, I've got a set of 22 here in Central Virginia, which are available for pickup. A couple got a little bit beaten up in the kind of removal and so forth, but I'm repairing those. These will be basically functional, usable, just as you please. And so let me know either in the comments or direct message if you're interested in picking up this set. Now I want to say thanks to all the people who contributed, who stopped by, who helped, gave their support, lent their hands. No contribution was too small because there was a couple points where everybody was doing something. And so there was a couple points where only basically John was figuring out what to do, or not everybody was engaged, but you need those sort of downtimes, and you need the large crew to make things easy when it is hard, for just those few moments when it's challenging. So I want to thank everybody who came by. And then we got together and kind of had a barbecue, grilled burgers, had some beers. I'm still working on the shear strakes. That's what I'm working on now, and that's what I'll show you in an upcoming video on the Nettlesome project.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early